Hello and welcome to this inaugural episode of Trekking Through Time. I am your guide, Brian Parkhurst, and we're going to start out this episode in a place that's very near and dear to my heart. This is Hemlock Gorge. It is in northern Baltimore County, Maryland, and there's a ton of history here. And if you are familiar with my other channel, Taste Buds Through Time, you'll know that this is where I come to do a lot of the shorts that I do. And if you haven't watched them, why not? Go do it now. I'll wait. All right? You got that done? Great. Okay, so where we are right now is a place called Huffmanville. Yes, I know. Looking around me, there's nothing but trees and grass and rocks. I understand. But as with everything else in America, things disappear. And this is one of them. So let me give you a quick history of what's going on. So Frederick Wilhelm Huffman, a native of Germany, was the first paper manufacturer in Maryland. For several years after his arrival from Germany in 1768, he worked in the paper-making business in Philadelphia. By the year 1775, William Huffman, which was the name he took when he came here, had taken up grants in the 6th District of Baltimore County and built the Clippermill on the west branch of the Gunpowder Falls. The site of this mill and most of the other Huffman mills are now part of Pretty Boy Reservoir, which is on City Water Department property. And that's where we are. We are in Pretty Boy Reservoir, which is a reservoir that feeds Loch Raven Reservoir, which in turn feeds Baltimore City. At the turn of the century, there was a lot going on around here. And when I'm saying the turn of the century, I'm not talking about the 20th. So right now, I am standing in, or rather on the northern edge of Huffmanville, Maryland. Behind my cameraman is Hemlock Gorge, which is where a lot of the industry was found. But where we are right now is where the mill workers, they came to shop, they came to get their mail, they came to get their paychecks, and they came to worship. Right now, I am standing on the location of Mount Tabor Church. And you can actually kind of sort of see where it was because there's an edge of the cemetery that goes over and up, which is a nice sharp edge, which actually shows where the church was. And along beyond me, you see the few houses that are left from the actual town of Huffmanville. This town was built for the mill workers at the Clipper Mill and then later the gunpowder paper mills, which more of later. So right now, I am actually sitting smack dab in the center of Huffmanville, Maryland. I know you wouldn't think it to look around, but it really was at one point in time a town. And let me give you a quick synopsis about what's going on here. As a 1 year before the independence of the United States, William Huffman, blah, blah, blah. We already went through all that, right? Right, okay. So here he established a settlement and they called it Paper Mills Post Office. That was the actual name of the town. That's one of, man, I can't think of a more descriptive term for a town. Okay, moving on. So long about the middle of the 19th century, after the grandson had made this business a real success, because we're not just talking about one or two mills. He's got 3 upper mills and he's got a whole bunch of other mills that he owns parts shares in. So they're doing really well, bringing good amount of prosperity to the community. And right where I'm sitting is in front of William Huffman's house. It was called the Huffman Mansion. Now, this is not the original Wilhelm Huffman. This is his grandson, William Huffman. And he lived right here. I know. Hey, do me a favor. Pan around. Just take a look. Just take a look. Look at the trees. Look at the flowers. Look at the vines and everything growing up. Oh, my goodness. What do you see back there? A pile of bricks. Rest assured, if we were to go in there, which I'm not going to do because there's a lot of thorns, there is an entire house worth of bricks and a stone foundation. And I've even found china down in there, which dates around 1880s or so, which would put it smack dab right in the perfect time frame for this. But taking a look around, down here is the schoolhouse. Now this, again, mid-century, mid-19th century, this schoolhouse was built to accommodate all the children of the mill workers and the surrounding area with the farmers, because the Huffmans were a very benevolent family. And if you come right down here, oh, sorry, I don't want to get ahead of myself. That's not the original schoolhouse. The original schoolhouse was actually in one of the mill workers' homes. And then they built a second schoolhouse, which I need to do more research. It may have been there, but I know for a fact that that right there is the third schoolhouse. And now we move down here, and this is actually where the mill manager lived. And obviously, if you are the manager of a large mill, then you obviously get special accommodations. So boom, there you go. You got your own house. Gives you a little incentive to move on up in the working world, doesn't? And right here is a road. Now, during the time when the mill was in operation, this road was never here. This road was put in at the time that they built Pretty Boy Reservoir, because where it originally came out down on the other side of the school, to be shown in just a little bit, is where that road actually went off down to the Clippermill. So actually, the intersection was down there, not here. And this home right here, when it was originally built, was the U.S. Post Office and the general store. Now, just to give you an idea of where we are compared to where we were, you come up here toward the road and you look around this little mound, which again is where the mansion was, and you can see Mount Tabor Cemetery right down there. And you have to imagine, you got to use your imagination, that right beyond that sign to the left of it, there was a square building which was a church. And that was for all of the mill workers, and it was a non-denominational church. So everybody was welcome to worship there. And now we are at the southern end of town, which is where the schoolhouse is. And the schoolhouse, this particular one, was built in 1856. So it was literally at the height of the Huffman dynasty. Now, as promised, when we come down here, I was telling you that there's an intersection up there which didn't exist back in the 19th century. If you come down here, you can see the city of Baltimore has kept the original road nice and open for fire truck usage. It is now a fire road that goes down to our final destination for this video. And if you take a look over here, you can see all the pine trees which were planted by the CCC back during the Great Depression, and they're actually planted right over where the road came up. It came up through here, past this little red barn, straight past where we are, and on down through the woods, which is where we're going. Let's check it out. Come here, let me show you something. Where we just were was made by traffic from commercial vehicles for almost 2 centuries. But if you look here, you actually take a look and you can see this is a fire trail that was made by the city crews, by Baltimore City when they put the reservoir in. There's nothing deep about it. It's just the trees are removed, it's flattened, and you can get a vehicle down there. So there's no historic value to that. But there's so much historic value to this. And of course, it's the road less traveled. I mean, come on. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you can, well, of course you can tell. I'm on video. You can tell that the sides of the road extend above how high I'm standing right now. Again, this is not because of a tractor coming down here and plowing this all out. This is 100 to 150 years of commerce traffic, and it's just absolutely amazing because you churn it up with the wheels and the hooves of the horses, and you have the reins, and it erodes the way down, and then you ride on it some more, and it erodes some more, and it's just absolutely breathtakingly astounding what humans can do to the landscape without even trying. But we haven't been down here doing anything for 140 years, 130 years. So Mother Nature has had a chance to heal. And my God, what a beautiful job she's done. Ah, moving on. All right, we have arrived. Check this out. We are now at the Clippermill, the first paper mill manufacturing facility in the state of Maryland. This is what Wilhelm Huffman built 1 year before the Revolution. Do you see it? What do you mean you don't see it? It's as plain as day. It's a mill. Come on. So see? See? All right. I'll point it out. If you look at this rock face over here, you can actually tell how it has been manhandled and picked apart for building material. Now, on the face of it, sure, it just looks like a rock cut. Maybe it's natural. I know that's what you're thinking, but look right here. I know. Now, focus a little bit more. I'm going to go across the front of the camera, so you might see a flash. But we have iron threaded bolts coming out of this pedestal. Now, what, you ask, might this have been for? Well, it was to connect the two upper mills. You can't get a road through that valley. The only road you have is going up that hill and up over. But how are you going to get supplies from one place to another? Well, you do a wired cart, which is on top of a tower with a cable system. Wild, I know. But anyway, we've got these six remaining bolts, which there was a metal tower that went up above us, probably about as tall as that tree right there. Again, I know it's hard to believe, but moving on, here's more signs of industry. I mean, how much more signs of human activity do you get than a brick? Moving through here, we have signs of a well, which is where they got their water from. It was a steam operation, mill, steam. They had water operations, and then as they moved on through the 19th century, they upgraded to steam operations. This is one of the places where they would pump water. Down here, we have the remnants of the dam, and behind it, the mill pond. Here's another piece of rebar for infrastructure right here underneath of my foot. We are standing on a wall. Now, I suspect where we are right now was the actual mill, because we are just below where the dam is. And you're going to do all your mill operations south of where the water is coming from, because the water has to flow over the water wheel, go through the turbines, do whatever it is that makes it work. So you're going to want that mill just below where the dam is. If you take a look in here, you can actually see this is what's left of the runoff channel from the mill race. And if you come over here, again, I know it's so hard to believe because this is like primeval beauty, but the harder you look, the more you can see the hand of man. We have this wall right here, which was part of the dam system. And coming over here, you can see more of it. Follow me through the brush at your own risk, but follow me anyway. We have more of the industrial mill complex right here in front of us. I mean, it's really hard not to acknowledge that the hand of man came in through here, and it was something substantial. And it was something substantial. It was a very historic building. It was a very historic time. It was right before the Revolution. And this man came from Germany, and he set up a milling operation on his own, doing his thing. And he did it so well that not only did he get orders from Annapolis and Baltimore City, but he also got orders from the Continental Congress for paper, which of course he made rag paper. So that was used for wrapping paper, writing paper, cartridge paper. So the Continental Congress purchased rolls and reams of this paper from him so that they could make musket rounds for the Revolution. So not only was he a capitalist, not only was he in it for the money, but he was a patriot. I mean, wouldn't you be? It's America. Over yonder is the other end of the mill dam. So that dam came straight across here to right here. And then you've got the mill race and the mill buildings right in this general area right here. I know, it's hard to believe, but I think I've laid out some pretty good evidence. And if my research proves true, when we go ahead and edit this video, I'll make sure I put some pictures in. No promises, Yep. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, this area is very near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure you can look around and see the natural beauty and absolutely wonder why. But for a history geek like me, it's kind of like hometown Mecca. Now, William Huffman was a man that wanted to better himself. He came from the old world to the new. And in coming to the new world, he created a new life for himself. He carved an industry out of a wilderness, and he made it work for the better part of a century and a half. And eventually it all came crumbling down. And we will explore that within the next couple of videos. But for now, I just want you to take it all in and remember, the next time you're on a hiking trail, or you're on a hiking bike, or you're driving down the highway and you see something interesting, remember, history is where you find it. We're going to keep looking for it. Thanks for coming out with us today. Really appreciate your time. See you next time.
Hello everybody, my name is Warren Parkhurst. I'm the cameraman and editor for channel Taste Buds Through Time, and I just wanted to film this little announcement to let you know that if you like the video you just watched, you should come over and join us on Trekking Through Time, spelled Trekking Through Time, spelled like the clock, not like the spice. I'm going to have it linked in the description below if you want to join us, but hey, if that's not your cup of tea, which, not very British of you, but if it's not, you can stay here on this channel, just keep watching our cooking, and I hope you have just as much fun. But I do highly recommend looking at the other one because we've been having a lot of fun doing it. So with that, all I can really say is history is where you find it. I hope you join us along the way.